So there are a lot of different ways to set up your file on Illustrator for the Graphtec to cut, and so it mostly depends on your personal preference, but this is one way that I found that works really well for setting up your file. First, you'll want to open up an Illustrator page. Then you can find an image that you want to cut. There's lots of different ones that you could find. I think it generally works best if you find something that's like a stencil, especially for cutting out vinyl. So you'll copy that and then just paste it into the page that we made earlier. Once you've done that, you'll go to Window at the top and then down to Image Trace, and we can look at the preview of this and kind of decide which threshold we want, what parts we think are important, and once that's where we want it, we'll deselect Preview and then click Trace and then Expand. At this point, we can set the fill to be transparent and then the stroke to whatever you want. From here, we want to just alter the image and make sure that it's exactly what we want. Sometimes it can double layer for whatever reason, so I like to just delete any of those extra lines and just clean up whatever parts I don't want. And once we've got our file set up and it looks great, we can just put it at the size that we want, our finished size, and then we'll send it over to Cutting Master 5. So you'll go up to the top to File, and then down to Cutting Master 5, and send to Cutting Master 5. If your file isn't quite what you want it to be in Illustrator, you can also change that here in Cutting Master 5. My file wasn't quite the size that I wanted it to be, so I can change it here. You can also rotate it or mirror it. It mostly depends on what you're trying to achieve, but generally you can just keep it how it sends. For reference, this red arrow is showing the area of the Graphtec that's closest to you, and the blue arrow is showing the shorter side of the Graphtec. So the red arrow is the longer side, and the blue arrow is shorter, which can be helpful when you're setting up your file and laying out your material. From here, we can double check our conditions. So the conditions are different codes that tell the machine what to cut or draw, and generally when we're cutting, we want to keep it on condition number 1. And so we'll go over to this page and we'll double check that it's on condition number 1, and sometimes it will be on another condition already. So we'll make sure that Enable Driver Options is selected, and then we can select our condition. We can also decide whether or not to include weed lines, and weed lines are just little cuts that the Graphtec will make around your design. And then once your file looks great and is all set up on this program, you'll make sure that the Graphtec is on and the fan is on and your material has been set to a good location. And then you'll press Output and the Graphtec will start cutting it immediately.